Hey, how's it going, everybody? Got a really cool pickups video for you guys as I found something from the 60s that's just badass. Anyways, gonna start with the 80s here. Found some game controllers for old school systems. Got another gamepad for my Sega Master System, which on these, man, as long as they're functional, I don't care how they look, man. I don't find stuff for the Master System too often. And all these controllers I got for 10 bucks. And these two, man, just one of them, you'd be lucky to find it for 10 bucks. As in, these are getting pricey. Got two Wiko command control joysticks for the Atari 2600, and they're just dirty. Otherwise, they are in excellent condition. Joysticks, still nice and stiff. Thing works great. Switch works good for switching back and forth on the fire buttons. Chords are good. Kick-ass deal. Now this, awesome find. Found a 1960s Power Master Crossbow made by Whammo. And it still works. As in, whoever had this was trying to take care of it. And so something to where I did talk the price down on it. On the joysticks, man, I just said, hey, 10 bucks. And the lady said, alright. This, he was wanting 80. And that was all the cash I had on me. It's like they know how much is in your freaking wallet. So, first I just said, well, I'm still checking around, so I might come back and make an offer. Or give you the 80 bucks or whatever if I decide. So he's, oh, that's cool, man. I'll even set it aside for you, which was nice of him. So, found the joysticks for 10 bucks, so that pretty much knocked me down to 70. So, went back and just said, I really don't have the 80 anymore, as in I already bought something that I was looking for here. And he's all, well, make an offer, man. Throw a price at me. So, it's kind of, I said, I know this is really knocking it, but would you take 50? I said, well, can't do that. That's close to what I paid for it, but would you take $60? And I make a little bit of a profit, as in he wasn't needing too much extra. So, 60 bucks. And after looking these up online, man, at least worth 100. As in, this one works. I saw one on eBay, as in one, that a guy is selling to where you can bid or do the buy now thing for 115 bucks. And then most of the other ones I saw on different sites that were for sale, the cheapest one I saw was the price he started out with, 80 bucks, but then the shipping was a killer. As in, it is kind of heavy. But, great shape. That right there is basically the only problem that really stands out, which it's looking worse in the video here, as in lights hitting it, but it's just a really light scuff. Just going down that side to where I'm thinking it's the finish here. They didn't put it on too thick, so it didn't really soak in the wood good, and it didn't take much to show the wood beneath it. So probably just hit that up with some still wool or just really fine sandpaper and then restain it. Otherwise, great shape, man. All the metal parts are in great shape. And what's crazy, even that this is from the 1960s, comparing this to my other crossbow that's new made from China or whatever, same kind of firing mechanism. As in, there is a metal rocker type thing in there, trigger catch, that can flip back and forth. So when you cock it, it flips backwards and then back up again to lock it until you pull the trigger, and then that allows it to flip forward and let the string go. And then same kind of safety mechanism. So not much has changed. It's just this one's made way better than the other. Really strong safety, as in push it forward, you can fire it, pull it back, no way. And then on sights, this is kind of cool. Flip up peep sight. Really old school style, like an old rifle or whatever from the 1800s. And then you line that up, with this little washer here that you can move back and forth that's on this wire going across. Line it up with my head there so you can see it right there. And then, as you can see, the bow is aluminum, spring aluminum, not spring steel. As in, I made one, not this nice, but made one like this in high school that had the aluminum bow, and it burned up in a fire. And what was crazy, as you can see, this has a regular string. The one that I made in high school in Sportscraft had a freaking steel cable. And I had it strung because I had a target set up beyond my sister's place so I could have something to do. It got hot enough to where that thing had enough tension on it. It literally didn't melt the bow, but made it really weak to where it just folded on me, man. I mean, it was like shit. Like that, down each side. Just literally snapped it. And then it was also all warped all over and stuff. The trigger on it, nothing like this. This is a nice, strong trigger and string catch. One I had as basic as it gets, man. It was naturally made out of aluminum because, no, we don't want to make anything else cheap. And just trigger with a top piece that had a couple little forks on it, or prongs or whatever, for the arrow to fit between, and then also catch the cable, which steel cable against aluminum, so every time you'd fire it, as you can see here, I'm thinking this is the original string on this too, because it's showing signs of age. And also, instead of having cord wrapped around it, it's got a piece of tubing that looks like it was clear, and it's all freaking yellowed from age. Anyways, the cable that was on my high school made one, freaking spring, which would eventually start getting stretched out from shooting it, and it would cut lines into the trigger. And then also, to make things worse, if I ever wanted to put a real string on it, for supposed protection of the string and the wood, you'd cut a couple more areas down the side here along where the arrow runs or bolt, and it was just a couple long strips of aluminum that would fit in there, so it had a couple rails, and that also got tore up. Just really poor plans. And that wasn't the worst, man. In fact, I've got a website to where he's not selling the Crossbow, but he's got the same type that he's using as an example, and this guy makes his own bolts out of wood, which, unless you got one that's homemade that's fairly weak, I don't recommend them. He's saying, oh, they're good for up to 150-pound crossbows. That's, nah, man. Not wooden bolts, nah. The one I made in high school, I don't even think it was close to 50-pound. You could cock it real easy, as in, same kind of bow as this, but not as thick. I could put it against my stomach and cock it without using the foot thing. Anyways, you put one of those on a high-powered one, you're going to be really lucky if the damn thing doesn't shatter, as in send fragments, wood fragments, back at you and take out your eyes or whatever, or hurt somebody that's by you. And that's stupider. And it definitely shows on the one he's using as an example. As you can see, this one's made traditional to where they cut the notch and then got a metal plate on each side, and the bow rests in that metal plate, so it's got something to reinforce it on the wood. One I made and the one he shows, the bolt is literally fastened to the front of it via a bolt screwed into the wood that's not much thicker than this if it's the same, and then just a little freaking nut on the end of it and a washer. And this, I didn't get much vibration or sound because it's got an actual string. That one I made, thwack, as in steel cable, so you got that thick part holding the cable in a loop that smacks against the bow every time you shoot. And I tried wrapping it in tape and all kinds of stuff, man, it didn't help. That's one of the few things that he shows on his that's different, other than the bow on his is black, and I can't tell if it's painted aluminum or if it's fiberglass. If it's fiberglass, that could be even worse. That thing could snap on you from the vibration of it getting loose, which is really bad, man. You don't want that flying back at you. Anyways, just poor quality. But cool that I can make one in high school. Even had one kid that was stupid enough to wear he layered up 2 bows, as in he wanted one that was high power and then made clamps to hold it together. And the dumb shit was seeing how much it would take to cock the thing by hand. And he finally got it cocked, and then he left a frickin' bolt in it and walked away to go to the bathroom or something, and the damn thing went off. Murphy's Law. The direction that the arrow went was towards the door of the teacher's car, as in, yes, we were inside. It went through the freaking wall, as in through the drywall and the outside wall of the building, and literally stuck in the guy's car door, man. He couldn't get that freaking kid out of the classroom fast enough to the principal's office. It was like, shit, 10 more seconds and the kid would have been killed by the teacher, even if he was 80 or whatever. Man, our teacher was an old dude. That's how you get out of school free for the day, man. Or you have a teacher that has one of those little Lee cars, man, that's kind of like the little mini cars you see nowadays. They can fit in a dumpster. We did that once to fuck with him. The dude was a practical joker, so we'd always get revenge, man. And his car was smaller than the dumpster, so got some football players, and they picked the thing up and set it in the dumpster, and he thought it was stolen. Nobody said shit for like 3 fucking hours, and he was freaking out and shit. Oh, man, what the hell? Where is it? Somebody stole it. Why would they steal my car? It's a piece of shit. And it's like somebody walks by to throw garbage in the dumpster. It's like, what the fuck? You had to... I don't know how the hell they got it out, man. I wasn't there for that, but it was fucking funny. But, bummer you can't do stuff like that in high school anymore, man. I don't know any high school nowadays where you can bring your shotgun or rifle or whatever to school as long as you don't have any ammo to get it blued. I mean, shit ain't like that anymore. So anyways, killer fucking find. It's too fucking cool. Just be cool to have it hung up, man, on the wall as a display. Just to show you what they don't do anymore, is and you can't get them made like this anymore. So, catch y'all later.